So I was thinking, there are some of us who think we are failing, but really we're grieving. And I was thinking about it because we are going to therapy, we're going to the gym, we are singing and dancing. I mean, whatever we are doing to try and help ourselves feel better. And it's not working. And we're sitting at home isolating, thinking we're a burden. This is some of us, this is not all of us. And we're thinking we're failing because we don't know how to make ourselves feel better. And it's because we're grieving compound losses. Just with the pandemic alone, we are grieving multiple aspects of the quality of our lives. And that is not to mention the mental health dynamics and the family dynamics and the money dynamics and all the things that were going on for people before the pandemic hit. There were losses that came from that. And then there are people who invested in the stock market and their security was wrapped up in their money and their stability was wrapped up in their money. And then they lost a bunch of money in the stock market. So now there are losses that they're dealing with from that. And then you have people that don't even know they're grieving because they're so busy working and trying to produce and trying to keep busy. And they don't even know that they're grieving because it's just business as usual. Because how were we all raised? No matter what's going on in your life, you keep going. But when you stop, you feel things. And this is the reason why it's important to understand how your nervous system works. Because we're trying all these things to calm our nervous systems down because we know all these tools and things we need to do, but they're not working. Because your nervous system and the fight or flight part of your brain's job, its whole function is to keep you safe. And when you are on autopilot and just going on about your daily life, and autopilot's just another way to say you're living in survival mode, you are perceiving things as threats that you wouldn't normally perceive as a threat. And so if you're living in survival mode and everything's a threat, of course your nervous system doesn't give a shit about anything except, fighting or fleeing from the danger or negotiating it if you can't run. And we can't run from what's psychological and from what's going on in our bodies. So here we are thinking we're failing and we're really grieving and not knowing we're grieving and not knowing how to deal with that grief. So I just wanted to put that thought in your ear because I'm thinking about that and reminding people and letting you know that you're not failing. You're trying to survive every day just like everyone else is. What I do know, I don't have any answers for it. For how do we deal with the grief? I know it's together. I know it's to not isolate yourself. I know it's to talk to people. I know it's to not hide because that's our other thing, right? We only want to come out and talk about things when everything's hunky-dory and peaches and cream. And we don't want to talk about grieving and what grieving is like for us and what that feels like in our bodies because there's a lot of shame around that and a lot of other feelings that we're not dealing with. And I think it's easier for people to deal with that kind of stuff, to deal with grief and loss and trauma from childhood, but trauma just from these events that are happening in our daily lives now by supporting each other and letting each other know that, nobody's alone going through it. We're really all in this together. And so the way that we deal with the grief is together. All right, have a good evening. Bye.